Hi, I'm Jim Pavett from PureWave Audio. Today we are reviewing the SPL Phonitor 2 Headphone Amplifier. The original Phonitor headphone amp was a huge success. The Phonitor 2 adds monitoring options and speaker simulation capabilities to its newly redesigned 120-volt technology headphone amp, making it the best in the world. With its exceptional technical specifications and a huge power margin, it could reproduce any musical material without the slightest modification. Since the signal processing is not limited, the musical signal is not altered at all. Music sounds more natural, and hearing fatigue is drastically reduced. Let's start with the monitoring options. The Phonitor 2 has 3 inputs available: 2 sets of balanced XLR inputs and 1 pair of unbalanced RCA jacks on the back panel. When selected, they will feed to the headphone output or to 1 balanced pair of XLR outputs on the back. These options are selectable from the front panel via 2 switches. The source switch toggles between all 3 inputs, and the output select chooses headphone or speakers. Then you just need to use the volume control to feed a percentage of audio to your output. This is the simplest form of using the Phonitor 2. But now let's talk about the matrix. Traditional headphone reproduction produces a 180-degree stereo image in the middle of the head. And it is exactly this which creates the very problematic to impossible headphone mixing environment. The essential reason for such unnatural ambience is the complete separation of the channels, which does not exist either in natural hearing or in stereo loudspeaker reproduction. This makes it nearly impossible to judge tonal balance, a stereo image, and the phantom center channel. Panorama adjustments, as well as related EQ settings that one attempts with headphones, typically does not transfer well on loudspeakers. What is often called the super stereo effect with headphones usually creates a great deal of ear fatigue in the long run. Over loudspeakers, the sound stage is felt in front. When monitoring on headphones, though, the stage is present on the left and on the right, but frontal and rear information is lost. This is where the matrix comes in. The matrix uses a few controls to simulate the usage of speakers while using headphones. The idea is to use this to replicate your actual control room without using speakers. This way you could check the accuracy of your project under the microscope of headphones without the dreaded 180-degree image. There are specific procedures in the manual that show you how to accomplish mimicking your speaker setup. The matrix switch has 3 settings: crossfeed and angle, all, which adds the center channel to crossfeed and angle, and off. The crossfeed knob allows you to adjust the frequency-dependent crossfeed simulation of both channels by adjustments of interaural level difference. And the angle knob provides for frequency-dependent simulation of your stereo image width by adjustments of interaural time difference. The center channel knob decreases volume to the phantom center channel. In a normal headphone listening experience, the center signal is typically quieter than the stereo signals, which appear louder due to the super stereo effect. With this matrix control, a good natural balance will be found. On the Phonitor 2, there is also a phase switch, which allows you to reverse the phase of one side. This allows you to hear what information is on each side versus the center. And finally, there are a few features like a switch for calibrating the VU meter. When on the 0 setting of the switch, a +4 dBu output is achieved when the meter shows 0. There is +6 and +12 available to monitor hotter signals. A solo switch, which will solo in place left and right channel. You could also solo one channel, but have it play in both ears by engaging the mono switch at the same time. There is a lateral mode, which allows you to compensate volume between ears in case you have a little hearing loss in one side. It is a subtle compensation. It is not obvious, but this unit comes with a learning remote function. This way you could control the volume of the Phonitor 2 with a third-party remote. The Phonitor 2 provides dip switches on the bottom of the unit, which allows you to dial in between different professional and consumer levels, create an insert loop using the XLR inputs and outputs bypassing the volume control, and also allowing the matrix to be active on the XLR outputs instead of just the headphone out. All the knobs on the Phonitor 2, except for the main volume knob, are detanted. This was done to make sure there was perfect symmetry between the channels left and right. Everything on the unit is very robust. Listening to the Phonitor 2 was an amazing experience. At first I tried it in regular stereo mode with no matrix so I could compare with other headphone amps I had in my studio. I will say that the Phonitor 2 seemed more smooth and less harsh on the top end with plenty of reserve power for the low end. Then I went into matrix mode and simulated my speaker setup in my control room. It was very interesting to hear headphones without the 180-degree image since this is all I've known my whole life. Once you hear this difference and compare it to what you normally hear when mixing on speakers, it's kind of an eye-opener and you think, why haven't we been doing this the whole time to studio headphone amps? The Phonitor 2 comes in at a street price around $2,000, and I believe it is worth the entry price for someone who is serious about audio and wants to take their listening to the next level with no compromises. For those who do not need all the bells and whistles, the Phonitor Mini was created as an option. Thank you for joining me at purewaveaudio.com. You can find both these products on our website for purchase. Feel free to email or contact us by phone if you have any more questions.